we're doing a debrief of our airsoft trip, our airsoft game from last weekend. Basically, the idea here is we want to look at tactical strategies of what we did wrong, what we did right, what we could have done, what we should have done, and basically just how to improve ourselves, how to improve our gameplay. And the reason why we're doing this is just so we can become the best quote unquote warriors we can be, so that when things do become necessary, we can be prepared. And that's what this whole page is about, is being as prepared as we can. So to start off with, we look at the map. See this red dot, this red pink here. This is the parking lot for where we played our game. So this road little right here, this is basically the area of the field that we played in. If we zoom in right here, you can see that this is a giant wall. This is basically how many feet in elevation do you think it was?
Several hundred at least. To the top, probably like 500.
Okay. What about to the point?
Say 300, 400. Yeah, at least. Yeah. It took probably, you think, like 20 minutes for everybody to
Yeah, longer than that. So, this is the point, the parking lot. I'm trying to look for the shadows for those telephone poles. There's
the first
one.
That's the first one.
And there's the second.
It was between two.
So straight up, go straight right.
So, the idea of the airsoft game that we were playing, it was to basically recreate Sugarloaf Hill, Mogadishu. You know, that iconic photo where the Marines are raising the flag on top of the hill. We're kind of playing that, just Colorado flag. So this was the Marine camp.
They're defending for.
We were the defending team. You can see with my mouse, this is a telephone pole. You can see the shadow here. You can see another shadow here. These were 2 points that we had to defend. And then this boulder here. Yeah, there was a flag about there. That was the last flag we had to defend. And man, it was a grueling climb up there.
Drops off probably.
Yeah.
Pan, right?
So this is from the highway, but
Yeah, I mean that is the cliff. So
Yeah.
we were underneath, like we were over about that high.
yeah, about this high off the cliff. Yeah, because it was like straight up,
Yeah,
right?
it was right there. That's
But
where we were.
like right behind this boulder, probably. Is,
And that's why you're supposed to take pictures.
Yep. Yeah, we didn't take any pictures or
I'm
video.
not getting that phone shot out.
we're lessons learned,
That's
all right?
off his forehead. You think that phone's
I was like,
that?
you guys need to start taking pictures of your battle wounds.
Yes.
Yeah, so we were a long ways off from the parking lot, man.
Yeah.
I could still scope the parking lot, which was weird though.
It's because we were so high. We were looking down from the top.
Honestly, the way this whole field is like you can see the wall here. I thought that we were gonna play objective, as in we were gonna have a point here, they were gonna have a point here, and we were gonna have to drive one way or the other, kind of like the Battle of 300, but or Thermopylae, whatever you want to call it.
Zoom back in a little bit.
In?
Where are those telephone holes? One and
There's that two.
That's
so
the
that's
second
that's
one. That's the
two.
second
So
one.
that's one.
Yeah.
So we were straight
One,
up from
two.
the middle, right? So that doesn't look right though. Yeah, we were up here. We were sitting on this shelf, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the next shelf up is the top of the
Yeah.
thing. The one-time use frags, though, they said they were like $10 a
$10
piece.
a
That's crazy.
But they were
They-
so loud.
They were loud, but they threw like 20 or 30 of them.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of money.
That's true.
There's reusable
But we also
bottles.
have what, 15 guys per team
Yeah.
almost.
I mean, it wasn't one guy throwing them, but
It's
he killed all of us with one grenade.
yeah.
That's
That was
what-
a nice
that was
throw.
like
Yeah.
7
If it was a real grenade, we'd all be dead. Pretty
5
good.
guys who
Yeah.
just landed it right in our lap. Boom.
That was
Yeah.
definitely a mistake. We should have
I said it right before that. I was like, we're all gonna die right here.
Yeah.
When I was on the left side guarding, they threw like 4 of them at me, and they were a little too short.
Said he was over in like, so we had to defend these two electrical light poles.
Yeah, they had a balloon strapped to them. They were supposed to be the initial respawn point, and it was, what, you think like 20 minutes to hike to the top?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't really show well in this video, but a lot of those large rocks you can see are like
Massive boulders.
They're like 100-ton boulders that are like 10 feet tall. They're enormous. So we immediately, the entire team immediately abandoned both respawns and went straight to our flag at the top of the hill and respawned from there because
we shouldn't have done.
Well, we did.
Yeah.
We did hang out below the shelf here.
Oh, briefly. Yeah,
There's like 2 shelves, but it's not really showing it well because of the shadows.
Yeah,
this
we
is
need more
where
like
we were.
siding.
You and me. This is where we sat. It was right in this corner,
Yeah, somewhere in there.
and then the flag was up here because we had to go around.
You sure it was that high? I don't think it was that
I think
high.
it was that high, dude.
Okay.
It had to have been. That's the only 90-degree wall in that whole thing, right there.
Yeah.
It has to be right there.
Go over and show, because we were supposed to defend those 2 flagpoles, and they were supposed to start in the parking lot, and they had to carry a case of water with them and a 20.
And they came up right here.
20 gallon.
They came up right here.
Like
right?
little tube of water. Yeah.
I think more up. 'Cause that's the first, like right there.
Right
Is
here.
that, like, yeah.
They came through those boulders. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they came up. Isn't this
Well, there was like
where the TDM game is, Tristan? Right here.
I wasn't
we
for that
weren't
TDM
there.
game.
Well, I know, but you've been to that field before, right?
No, this was my
No.
first time on this.
I
field.
think
I
that
think
big
it was-
rock at the top that's like that triangle shaped rock.
Yeah, because they
Where
definitely went
they-
behind
where
all
they
those
were
other
hitting.
boulders too.
I thought they came here, snickered out, and then went around, back out and around this way.
Yeah.
Came up.
Yeah. Initially they went way
Yeah,
way
way
top.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
okay.
they also
You're
had to
right,
move
you're right, 'cause
their
that's a pole.
respawn
Yeah.
flag with them too, right?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a pole, and that's a pole right there, right?
No. That's the first pole right there.
Yeah, that's the first pole.
You drag it. Yeah, that's the second
Yes.
pole.
They had to have come up right
Yeah, they
here.
went through behind
They walked
those.
they walked the road because
Yeah.
we were all lower, but there was a couple of our teammates up top that actually saw them walking on the road,
We had
which
So,
must have been kind of
2 or 3 snipers with us. 2. And they
These
instantly
two, yeah.
quit.
We had to be
They
right there.
they,
based on
they
the
got
rules.
out and decided to call it quits.
Yeah, if they hadn't quit, we had what do you think, like 4 or 5 teammates. About half the team gave up after they died the first time.
And we had to last for 2 hours.
We had 40
and-
minutes left.
Yeah. I mean, we would either had teammates not quit and respawn with the ticket system we had installed, or if we had defended those 2 points, I think we would have won the day.
Yeah.
Considering.
First airsoft game.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you want to show kind of where we all were to begin with, and then kind of show where me and Marshall dragged our asses to, and then died for the first 2 kills of the game. Because I think I was hiding. Yeah, there was this bulge here.
Mhm.
And I were kind of hiding here,
Yeah, you pushed out to about there.
and like said, they came through. Then they put up their flag and some smokes, and then what did they split off here? And a team went around
that way.
and tried to push up here, and a team
Yeah.
came up, tried to push here, and then come up and then back.
Yeah, and then the
Yeah.
initial team that was on the north side couldn't make it, and they all wrapped back around.
Yeah,
And then they came from the middle and the left side.
because I saw them moving around here, and since we were on the other side of this bulge, we decided to push forward into here. Yeah.
We were lower down on the first wall. There really was no cover, so as soon as they got up to some elevation where they could see us, everybody on that first shelf died.
I found this armpit where the 2 rocks were at, and then I started moving boulders and made like a little like foxhole. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
You should have seen it.
Yeah, there's that one sniper guy. He found one of the cedar trees up there and had like a nice Y, so he basically used that as his shooting rest.
One of the other snipers had a cedar tree to one side.
Yeah.
And then the rock was split, and he was laying down into the V of it, and couldn't get hit from really 3 sides.
How far do you think it is from here to here?
Can you measure
You can.
2 points?
How do you do?
Distance to here. Holy crap. Can you read that? It's 200 feet? No, it's 3,000 feet. What does that say?
350.
Or something?
412 feet.
412 feet.
Straight shot and an elevation
Oh yeah, you got
gain
it.
of probably about 300 feet.
So almost a kilometer? No. I'm thinking meters. Fuck me. Almost 1,000 feet.
Stop using the metric system.
Yeah. So
Everyone was starting to shoot at them when they were 1,000 feet out.
Yeah.
well, no, it was pretty hard.
Well, so like go from where we were.
Because
Yeah.
you measured it as the.
So like
in here.
we were.
Yeah, 'cause that's the second pole. Here's the
So
first
they
pole.
started shooting at them like out in this distance.
Yes,
so like 350
they
feet.
came up this draw, and that's like the big
150 yards. 150
triangle
yards.
shaped boulder.
I don't even think the snipers reach that far.
I
They were
don't.
saying they could get like 100 yards on a good day, but also I was
$100 on it?
yeah, 500 and
One of them was 700 for the ride.
so say 580. 580.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you can drag it.
Ooh.
What? We're learning.
Dude, that's way better.
Yeah.
On the fly.
I like
Okay.
that.
We should redo this whole measure. We should have done all this dry run and then you film.
Yeah.
Yeah. So leave the stationary point up where we were.
Yeah.
Like it is.
So that's almost 800 feet. This is where they first seen their heads poke out.
Yeah,
See,
no.
but this is airsoft. If we would have had ARs, then this would have been like, yeah,
For sure.
The
on.
tactics would have completely changed.
everything.
Political background, and none of our teammates did. And I think there's a couple Marines on the other team, but pretty much they were
I would
all.
say there was 4 or 5,
Yeah,
like 2 current,
and they were the ones
And-
that smoked us ultimately.
2 or 3 ex-Marines. Like they got out after
I
doing
don't want to
their.
do CQB with them on the other team. Just
Fuck
that
no.
way.
Yeah, well, no, I guess they're veteran Marines, right?
Oh yeah,
That make you.
but they
They're
know
not,
how to
they're not
do it.
ex-Marines. Do they say ex-Marine? Or is that only if you're like discharged?
I don't know. I don't know the right way
Let's
to say
say
it
vets.
is.
Yeah, vets.
There's 3 vets and 2 current Marines. Let's put that.
Yeah, and then I think it's really not that far. Like over there-ish is about where we could see the entire parking lot, which is where they started at. 800 feet, apparently.
We should really make those numbers a different color.
It's we're also sitting like 10 feet from the screen, so I don't know.
That is true.
I wanted to, it just for like edit's sake, I wanted to put that up on the TV up there.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah, I think we would have been
Yeah,
able
so-
to read it better that way.
It'll be video. Maybe not.
Yeah, somebody's like with their phone, like.
Yeah, they can zoom in. Can I zoom in more now? Yeah, okay, so that's the 2 telephone poles. They're not that far apart. It really wasn't, it's not like a huge area, but the verticality made
It changed everything.
Yeah, if we weren't, if we had our real rifles, if this was an actual firefight, even though none of us had any like tac brain department, because none of us had ever done any of this before.
That's why we
Um,
did it.
The team advantage, which is how this battle in real life wouldn't really matter. It's such an overwhelming
Especially they were so open out
position. Yeah,
there. We were
it's-
buried in the rocks.
It's completely open. The only way they never did it, but apparently they could have gone backwards and
Come up.
somewhere in here they said you can come up and then also
Just walk that cliff face.
you can and then also farther out this way
Back there, yeah.
somehow they could have actually flanked all the way around us, and that's obviously what you would do in a real firefight. Ultimately, if you got up here and you could shoot
Yeah.
everyone in the back,
Helo pad up there. That
Yeah.
would've been the way to go.
yeah, they would have like rappelled down the cliffside, which would have been pretty cool.
All right, let's go back to how things kind of happened. First, this is the second hole, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the second one.
Okay. Is there another way for me to drop a pin?
I right clicked and then you can drop it, and then, or you could just hit and measure it. It'll drop a weight.
Is that our pin?
That
right?
wrench.
Is that
That's a
that's-
print. If you left click, does it drop it? Oh, yeah, it does.
Cool.
I don't know if it keeps it though.
Okay. Well, you guys were up higher than me and Marshall, I'm assuming, correct? So you guys were up in here.
Yeah. I would say
Not by much.
maybe 50 feet behind you.
Yeah, another 30 feet behind Josh.
Yeah.
So yeah, this looks right because there's that kind of that triangle bulge. I think some of the older people went all the way up to the top, and then we all kind of spread out, kind of trying to defend this.
Right.
And then me peeled off, died over here, and then we had to hike all the way up here and remind you that this is the same day that me and you, but we just got done. Me and him, we got done with our rucking trip that day, and I'm in my thermals. We're both exhausted, and trying to climb all the way up there. Yeah, I was pretty much done. We were gonna stay at the point and call it good.
Yep. If it was on a day where we were fresh, I was considering hanging out at the first flag. You would have died immediately. There's zero cover.
I mean,
and they had all the cover coming up out of that draw.
Oh,
and the second flag is in a field, so you're dead also. But there are some really big boulders that we could have hit behind.
Not just a boulder, it's a rock. A rock.
Definitely could have defended this first flag a whole lot better with all this cover right here.
Yeah. And if there was not more than like one person staying behind, we needed like
If we were to
different
do
levels.
it,
Oh yeah.
if we were to do it again, 2 to 3 people could have stayed down in the bottom and waited for them to come past, and then flank them from the rear
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. If we hit down.
in those boulders.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice.
We always talked about that. We were all hiding up here, and then eventually found out if someone would have just peeked up afterwards, it would have been a great. They would have.
If we if we had set up our radio comms better, we could have had the guys up by the flag. They can see everything, and they could have told them where they were going.
That was the other thing. We needed to actually set up a comms situation for that game. That was a terrible thing. We were all just trying to yell at each other. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
We've got 15 people and 3 of us have comms. It's not gonna do
It worked for Airsoft, but yeah, we would have been giving our position away immediately.
Especially from up there.
Oh
yeah, it echoed
bad.
super
Oh
bad.
yeah. They knew exactly where we were at once we started yelling at them. And
Yeah, there was
Accents.
after people started quitting, they were having a casual conversation in the parking lot, and you could hear it like they were standing next to you, and they were probably 300 yards away.
so once they decided to come up here, did they decide to drive back here and then
Yeah, they
move
could-
up this
Yeah,
way?
they
couldn't
gave
get
up
across.
because the guys on top were just sniping them real bad.
The guys from what?
flag.
Right in here or
The flag.
from
The
the
ones on the flag.
On the flag,
They
yeah.
were shooting them down. That way,
sniping
that
them
way.
off this way.
There's a lot less big rocks to hide behind over there.
There's not much.
And they didn't, I guess they were either directed not to go further or they didn't want to.
Because that's where they popped smoke. It was like about there.
Yeah, somewhere in here, right?
Yeah.
The first one, and then the
this
second
little-
one was like in the shadow right there.
In the shadow
Right
here.
there.
Yeah, that like group of rocks by the
No.
second pole is kind of the direction they start. Or that's where
Right
they
here.
started going up,
It's
right?
further.
A little further.
Yeah, because drag your mouse down to the 90 where we were.
Right here?
Nope. Up more in the big hole.
Oh, like right here?
Nope. Up. Straight right. come down, right there. That's where we were.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense actually.
So if they pop smoke on the other side of this,
Yeah.
they would pop smoke over here and try to come up way around like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
There's
this was a
nothing- there's
boulder
nothing here.
in front of the flag, and the flag was in this pocket here. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Because then they
It's
could
hard-
walk
it's
on
hard
this
with this
cliff
light.
face right
Yeah,
here.
we gotta take pictures.
Oh,
It's hard with this light.
Yeah, bring it, bro. Go, bro.
So they came up here. At some point, they were actually on this cliff face trying to throw grenades over here, but they kept hitting rocks and kept going down the hill.
Yeah, they had a couple that were parallel with where we were, like right below the flag. Probably like, what, 30 minutes into the game? I mean, they were quick.
Yeah, and they split up into two teams of equal parts.
Yeah.
And then I feel like this team came in here, and then they kind of split up and started driving more centered.
Mhm. That's when they took out the snipers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when they split kind of into thirds. There was a couple that's still on the north end.
Yeah. They had like a pincer movement going,
Mhm.
and they have really good comms. They were dead
Oh.
nuts on that, and they probably also had, I don't know, just better rapport because they were all like buddies. But
Yeah.
we didn't really know any of
next
our
time
teammates.
you guys will print out them, like look at it like this before you guys
Yeah,
go
we
out and
should.
shoot.
I definitely
They're
printed
done
off
with
a map, but we didn't use it at all.
Yeah, I think some trucks go.
But we
actually.
definitely should print out a map, have a game plan, and kind of have some like the two of us are going to be a squad, the two of us are going to be a squad, and we're going to take some other people with us, and kind of have moving
Yes,
parts.
and we gotta film it next time.
Oh yeah.
Gotta get a GoPro or
So
something.
when this team decided to retreat and kind of come back here and regroup, I think this is the flag. We're below this
Yeah.
second wall here,
Mhm.
correct?
Yep.
And then that's when they started moving up, and we started kind of picking them off here.
Yeah.
But then this second team here, out of nowhere, I heard that they were like coming up
They
on
wrapped
here.
all the way back down
Yeah,
and around.
they-
So they came all the way back down.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, they went 200 yards out of their way to make a loop.
Yeah,
So where do you think they cut back? Did they cut back here, or did they come
They-
like all the way back to the parking
they were
lot?
cutting back. Right where your cursor is now. There's that group of boulders.
I like that boulder. That is a nice boulder.
They went back around. They wrapped back around through there, and then they just darted across.
They
And
kind
they're
of weaseled their way up.
yeah,
Over there.
and they're too far away for the cheaper airsoft guns to hit them. And then I think they were doing really good communication because they knew exactly where our snipers were, and they started chucking grenades, and those guys were not gave up. And at that point, we had nobody with
Yeah.
ranged weapons, which is exactly
That was
what
terrible.
they needed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they killed everybody that could have reached out and touched them, and then they slowly
Well, and they had
threw them.
Up almost then, because they had most of our fire force focusing on here and this initial movement here. I still thought they were coming from here.
Yeah,
they were completely out of that north end.
So then they had basically two waves on this one here, and then this one kind of
Yeah.
doing a flanking movement.
Yeah.
And then that one solo guy that snuck through the rocks all the way around.
Oh yeah, their assassin.
yeah, killed, and they were. A group of like 4 guys behind them that came out of nowhere and killed me. So
We were doing all right picking them off here because this hill was a disaster for them to climb up.
Yeah, they were not coming up then.
I think that was a terrible decision.
A bad idea.
I think we should have stayed here, or especially with them flanking up here.
We should have flanked down.
What would have flanked down? You think it would have been a
Down.
good decision to come back up?
Once they all rotated
Yeah.
around, I think we could have gone out that way and down and come in behind,
Oh,
Yeah.
down through the bottom.
take a team
Oh,
down
yeah.
here,
And
kind of.
take 3 or 4 guys down there.
and
So do you think
Wrap
next
around.
time you'll have someone up at the top kind of describing what's happening?
yes, we need to do that.
Call binoculars at that range, but you could just somebody up top just saying.
Someone
they're
with
moving this way.
like an LPVO
They're moving that way.
1 to 10 or like a binos, yeah.
Yeah.
So how important do you think that would have given you a more strategic advantage?
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
We almost need someone
Well-
spotting and someone planning a next move too.
Right. One guy spotting
Yeah.
with comms, telling people on
A
the
radio
ground.
man and a
Right.
commander or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Telling people on the ground, okay, they're moving this way. You need to go.
Yeah, which is all obvious in hindsight, I guess, but
Hindsight's 20/20.
yeah, we didn't know what
Well,
we were doing.
We had the people up top, but with them just yelling it out, they're like, "Oh, they're to your left." Well, now
Yeah.
they know where we are.
Yeah, when they were also part of the confusion was people
They're
calling
sure.
out,
Yeah.
like 6 o'clock, 12
Right,
o'clock.
right.
Everyone's facing a different direction, so your
Right.
3 o'clock might be somebody else's 9 o'clock or whatever. But
Calling out like the guy that's not with us tried calling out the directions like northeast, southeast, or headings, but I don't think anyone's ever gonna catch on with that unless they have some actual formal training or do enough training like we
Compass?
do.
Would you
Like-
carry a compass at that point then?
Well,
or
you can't be in a gunfight when you're looking down at the compass.
Not really.
yeah, that'd be like part of the
But pre-mission planning next time.
pre-mission planning or just your general sense of direction. You should kind of always have a feel for what is north, south, and whatever.
So then once they came up here, I do agree, coming down, almost making a pincer movement.
Right. Rotating back around.
Yeah, because I mean, if anything, they would have pushed us back here, and we would have had to climb back up and then come back down. But they would have had to exhaust energy going down, coming back up, going down, coming back up.
Because they had already pushed and then pushed back.
Yeah.
It's a lot of movement.
So do you think this battleground is a big energy waster?
Oh
And
yeah.
that's
yes.
why it's so tactic
It was
disadvantaged?
definitely a battle of
It was
attrition.
a
Yeah.
tactical disadvantage for sure.
If there's not a leprechaun and a chest full of gold by the flag, any reasonable person should just not even bother and walk away.
Also, I think once we knew that they were trying to come up to this cliff face, we should have moved further down so we had room to recover, rather than all staying on the point. Where is that point again? I lost it.
It's a little south.
Is it right here? Right here.
Right there.
Yeah,
Right here.
yeah, right
Yeah.
there.
That's the
I
flag.
feel like we all should have pushed more this way, because there is that wall face right there. You can still see.
Right.
So
but
if
they
you
can't
guys
come up.
play this one again, will you have someone go along the front wall?
It all depends on where they're gonna put the
Yeah.
objective points.
I think also we didn't even consider the other side of the highway quickly gains elevation as well, and it would completely expose their backside, so we could have a guy there with binos and a radio calling out every single movement.
You mean like in here?
Well, like
Other side.
on the other side of the highway.
Up
Oh,
there.
this
While
way?
they were pre-gaming, we had about maybe 10 minutes or so.
Somebody could have walked.
Yeah, we could have
Well,
moved over there.
and
I
two,
think that would have been off map, but I mean,
I don't
in
know,
a
yeah.
tactical situation, that would be
Yeah,
perfect.
I don't know if they was there an actual play area.
You couldn't go past the highway.
Okay, I didn't know that.
so they came up through the middle and the bottom.
Here, yeah, and here.
We could have had a couple of people, not even necessarily just lying in wait, but down in the bottom of the rock area here to try to fight. Not necessarily for the pole, but it would have delayed them even longer. A couple guys just taking shots from right in this area.
Yeah.
And then once they killed us, because they inevitably will, that still is just a time waster, which is all we were trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could have delayed them by 20 more minutes or something.
Yeah. The other two things, I was able to kill probably 5 or 6 guys because they had a glint off either their mask
Mm-hmm.
or their optic. So if they got rid of that, and then also movement, there was a guy with like the ghillie hat thing. I
Yeah.
stared at him for like 5 minutes probably, and I didn't even know he was there, and then he killed me when I moved. So
Right.
proper camo and getting rid of shiny stuff. There was one kid that, I don't know, he had some kind of silver thing on his, it might have been like a necklace, and that gave him away like bad 3-4 times, yeah. So the guys that had all that figured out were basically invisible as long as you didn't catch them while they were moving.
Do you think? I mean, 'cause there's a lot of movement involved with what we already talked about. Do you think moving too fast is kind of some of the problems we might have faced, or
No.
I
is
think
it moving to a
it's-
spot and
it's-
holding that spot?
It's like, yeah, don't move until you're like hauling ass and get up and move and then get down. But there isn't there like a military thing?
I'm
It's
up,
like
you seize my
yeah, I'm
down.
up, yeah, I'm up, you seize my down.
Yeah.
Yes, that and also covering fire for each other,
Oh,
which
yeah.
we didn't do at all.
We need to learn that. We need to learn some small team tactics. Bounding.
Yes,
Yeah.
we need to practice bounding because they were really good at that. The
Well,
guys that had the actual tactics.
It was hard too. Me and a little bit of bounding along that cliff face, but it's so open. It was like, well, you got to run 40 yards just to get behind the next rock when we were pushing up towards the flag.
Yeah.
There was nowhere like you can't bound.
It was
there.
also like
And that wall is like a
Mhm.
hard
being
backdrop that they
Right.
can spot you on.
Right.
too.
being so unfamiliar with bounding too. It was like, okay, I know I can bound. I know the movement, but what do I bound to this tree? Do I bound to this rock? Is this rock good? Is it does it give me good cover? Does it give me
Yeah.
Because we ended up having to bound out of here. We were
no, I think that's a flag. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
right there. We were bounding along the bottom of this wall
To get back up.
around to get back up to this ledge. No, we were I think here, bounding here,
Yeah, something like that.
and then rotated back up to get to the flag area here. But either way, it was a hard backdrop. Nothing. There was really nothing along there, so we had to run from
I just
one spot all the way open against this rock face, all
Yeah.
the way down, and then this is really where we ended up getting cover. So we were trying to basically just beat feet through here to get up,
Yeah.
because without cover, don't stop.
And we should have held that spot because
Right.
that's where I think they ended up getting there, and then they threw a grenade off the cliff face, and then it landed on the flag, and it killed us all.
They
We
rode-
bunched up.
yeah, it was
right
like an
there.
airburst.
They rotated
had
up
that
this
perfect.
way, here somewhere.
The other
above
side.
us.
I was
the other
on
side.
that side. He was on the other
Yeah,
side.
down here.
So- so-
It was north of the point.
Oh, I thought he was this way.
No.
Yeah, so a couple of those guys, the guy that threw the grenade, from my understanding, came from where was.
Yeah. I actually killed him and he got revived because I couldn't see
That was
where they were
kinda-
coming from.
I didn't like that because in normal games you can bandage a player and they can get revived from the point they die. We died and we had to just go back to the point and get a tick
Right.
system.
Well, and
But
especially
that was
like,
kind of the point.
if you die here or down in here, you had to hike all the way up to get a ticket and then go all the way back down to wherever.
Yes,
Exactly.
and they had to drink a water or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is probably worse because they had to carry like 100 pounds of water up that cliff.
Oh yeah.
Right, 2 cases, I think is what
Yeah.
it was.
They
Well,
then
and
they
that-
all.
Like a 20 gallon.
It was
jug.
weird. They had
Right.
like a
I
team
saw
of
that.
5 here, and then they had that one assassin kind of guy come over here, and then they all came up here, and that's when they were walking up this face here, and
Yeah.
they decided to shoot me in the forehead when I was already dead.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as we got grenaded, they kind of came out of nowhere in the middle. I thought they
think-
were still more right, but they had all
I
kind of
think
filtered
they were
back
sitting like down in these rocks,
in. Yeah.
and that grenade came over, and we all said we're all dead. They just started coming out.
Yeah, because they
Coming
ended
out
up
the
putting
base.
their flag.
They were
there,
right
didn't
here.
they?
Because I spotted probably 3 or 4 in there, but there was the entire team in the middle.
And maybe they were coming around this way and just hadn't made it into this funnel yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that's where the grenade came from, was right in this area.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like
So I think they might have been like down in this area, maybe heading up or trying to head this way. But either way, eight more guys, give or take, came out of this and then came up after we had lost the battle.
Yeah, it was all game over after that.
Yeah.
So, looking back at what are some of the main key points that you say that we did to lose the battle for you?
Comms
Comms?
and all being stuck in one spot.
I agree. What about for you?
Yeah, I'd say definitely communication and also I think positioning. We didn't do. We were all. I think we were close. We had kind of the right idea. As far as maybe just, especially the second flag that's like completely open, or the second balloon. But maybe we should have hung down lower near the first one, because we could have probably got all of them. And if we had comms, plus we had guys that were already at the bottom that could quickly flank, because we could have flanked multiple times, but everyone was up top. It would have taken.
We were too gassed.
It would have taken 20 minutes to get back down, and they would have moved already. So
If we had stayed down, a couple of us down in here,
is that showing still?
No.
Okay.
just for you guys though.
Yeah.
If we had stayed down in here,
Oh yeah.
when
It's like halfway down between the
Halfway
first
down.
flag. Yeah.
So if you guys play this one again, would you try and camouflage like the trees and have someone in the trees?
There was a couple good sniper spots that they had taken.
a
yeah.
couple of, even if you just lay down like in the cracks of the rocks and just don't move.
I feel
Like
like
it would be boring for 10 minutes, but once they push in by you,
Yeah.
you're
yeah.
halfway. You're halfway between there and where they need to be.
Yeah.
You're the first line of defense right there. And then from there, I think the snipers could have engaged with us
Yeah.
and not shooting. Like these guys up on the flag started shooting at them right away. Like you are not going to hit these guys
no,
400
yeah,
feet
yeah.
away.
And we
Yeah.
were wasting ammo because we only had limited ammo.
You're
Yeah.
150 yards from that guy and you have an M4, airsoft
Yeah.
M4.
It's
You're
like-
not
Yeah,
gonna
it's
hit
not
it.
happening.
It was like
Not
trying to
happening.
throw a pebble at a giant
Oh,
buffalo.
And it was even worse because they had the Polar Star HPA guns, and they could
So
just.
they could hit us easy.
Yeah.
100 yards, no problem with
Yeah.
these guys.
When I was hiding on the left side though, I think I held it for like 30 minutes because I didn't move, and I was literally skyline, but I was in the shadow of the cedar tree, and they couldn't figure out where I was at. If it was a real firefight, obviously like muzzle flash and all that, they'd probably figure it out.
Oh
But
yeah, that's true.
I made almost no noise, and I just kept hitting them. So
My main takeaway from what we did wrong is, like you said, communication, but also like we gave up too much ground to begin with.
Way too much.
yeah,
And
the entire first half.
I
half
will
of it-
say that half of our team was less athletic,
Yeah.
so they said we're gonna go to the high ground because
Yeah.
we're not gonna hide.
You
and
got
we're not
like
gonna
what,
drop.
Yeah.
40-plus-year-olds, and then like what,
Half of our team
Couple
obese
60-year-olds.
guys?
said
Yeah.
we're going up, and it's like, okay, well,
Yeah, us young guys should have probably
Yeah, we should've
hung
stayed.
around the bottom.
At
And
least
if
us
we were
four.
in communication with any of those people, yeah.
at
I-
least that's what.
Yeah.
Us four, but I mean, that was kind of the idea for the wrecking trip before the battle, was to be that exhausted to understand how exhausted we are. And I think I and you were not prepared enough for
Yeah.
the exhaustion that comes before that.
Yeah, it was really once the adrenaline got going, it was not so bad, and once you sit down for a while, you kind of get real stiff, and you're thinking about everything is sore and not as focused. So
And then the other thing is we did not plan like we should have. I think we should all know land navigation a whole lot better. But if we all have maps and we can all pick points and say designate A through J, and then we could
pick out
communicate
landmarks.
Right.
more effectively movements of what we should do and other things.
Yeah, because there was a lot of confusion. Like the guys up top, which we can't really see, they were like pointing at stuff, and we're like, what are they talking about? The big rock to the right. Well,
Yeah.
there's a lot of big
There's
rocks.
1,000 big rocks.
Yeah,
Which
so-
big rock?
Until you see somebody moving, you really had no idea. But
Right.
if we had said like, I don't know, chicken rock or something,
Or-
there's one that looks like a chicken.
Yeah,
And,
I'd be like the big rock that's closest to Point Bravo, you know?
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
The triangle, whatever.
yeah.
Obviously we lost this game, but what are some things that you're like you saw improvement on, or from some of the training that we've done that you see applicable now? What are some of those things that you saw?
You definitely learned the limitations of the platform you're running.
Yeah.
Like, you're looking at those guys down there at 150 yards, and you're like, I can make that shot all day. But with an airsoft, you're like, well, they gotta be, let's say, 50 yards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're looking at somebody who's looking at you from 50 yards, and it's what really weird. Like, you're looking at another human through an optic on a rifle, and it's okay. It's not weird.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
It's okay to look at somebody through a rifle optic with your gun pointing at them and shoot them,
That was definitely weird my first time.
and it's not, you're not like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
it's like, it's weird at first, but it's like, it's okay.
It feels a little strange, but also you're holding a toy basically, so
right.
you're like, yeah, you're good.
But it's also that idea of be like, if this was like, I have my rifle and I have the same optic on my rifle as I do on my airsoft gun.
Right.
Aiming at that person and then just, I don't know, removing yourself from the humanity and be like, what am I doing? You
Right,
know,
right.
that's a weird
Right.
feeling.
Right.
Yeah, and trying to, I guess, remember that we're trying to.
It really puts in perspective what we're doing.
We're trying to practice certain things for a real world application, and most people they're just there to have fun, so they'll hang out on top of the ridge and like wave and taunt or whatever, which is a great way to not stick around too long in a real firefight.
Yeah.
So things like that, and also the attacking team, all of their movement was completely out in the open. If they had more smoke grenades, that would have helped them a lot.
Right.
But definitely, it's something
Speed and
complete
accuracy
change.
would have been. Yeah.
Like their
Yeah.
movement was good, boulder to boulder, but then they would wrap back around to the wide open, and you're like, oh, there's 70
Yeah.
guys in a string running.
And the first entry into the boulder field is wide open anyway, so
Right.
they would have had
Right.
to completely go outside of the game boundary, I guess, to wrap around.
So learning the limitations as a positive is one thing, but what's something that you feel like? I know this was just our first game, but you feel like, oh, I really have this down. This is something that I have down that I enjoy, that I know I can do. This is something I want to continue.
Calling my hits.
Yeah.
Calling your hits.
There's definitely a difference in flight pattern, right? So like, I know my rifle, my real steel rifle would be zeroed. You're shooting and you're watching the BBs not even close. So then you're almost learning to just adjust on the fly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's curving way left, or that was way low.
Yeah.
It's like Kentucky windage on the fly.
And well, you can actually see them too.
Right, you can see them
Yeah,
fly, you can
yeah.
watch. Right.
Also,
What's something that you are gonna change kit wise?
I have a spare plate carrier, so I'll probably just like strip it down and fill it with all the airsoft stuff. All I have is my chest rig from the rafting trip, and I don't have enough of the airsoft mags to like fill it out. And if you don't put a mag in every slot, it kind of gets all sloppy. So I didn't really want to do that.
do you guys feel like you had enough water? Because that was an issue with your rafting.
Yes.
Yes.
He's had like a, what was that, like a little
Backpack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on his plate carrier. That was good.
I just got one of those. Game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I've
put
got
like
one on
4
my other
water
plate
bottles
carrier.
in there. I was kind of like the team supply guy.
Yes. Yeah. If I had my other plate carrier, I've got the like Marine Corps surplus hydration bladder thing.
Yeah.
It's like for like a 3-liter bladder. It's basically just a big pouch. Yeah.